Super Mario Sunshine is by far Nintendo's greatest masterpiece. The controls are like butter, the story is innovative, and a great metaphor on the bias against Italian men in the courtroom. Sunshine has amazingly vibrant levels, and coupled with its flawless camera controls, viewing them is nothing but bliss. On top of all this, exploring the levels is given an entire new layer of depth, with the Flood, with which you can erase gravity and do a penguin slide into the innocent inhabitants of Delfino Plaza. It's one of the greatest pieces of art I've ever had the privilege of touching. When someone tells me that art is subjective and will always be bad to someone, I point them towards Super Mario Sunshine, a game that is bad to no one. Unfortunately, we're not talking about Sunshine. We're talking about some dumbass game called Super Mario Odyssey. Just to explore some of Mario's not as great hits. I mean, it's okay, I guess. Whoever guesses the plot of this game is in for a big surprise. If you guessed Bowser kidnaps Peach, then you win! Your prize is a smile. Yeah, Bowser kidnaps Peach, so he can marry her. Whether or not this was the goal of all the other times he kidnapped her, I couldn't tell you. Either way, the focus on the wedding adds the smaller goals of helping the inhabitants of the world overcome Bowser ransacking their home to get supplies for his wedding. Oh yeah, the world. The game is called Super Mario Odyssey for a reason. Well, two reasons I guess. Mario falls into the Cap Kingdom after being beaten by Bowser and meets Cappy, a living hat. His sister is a tiara who Bowser kidnapped for Peach's wedding dress. The two team up and find the Odyssey, an airship that lets them travel the world. The game gets its name from the ship and also the nature of their worldwide journey. That are Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Mario is one of the few franchises where I could casually talk about sentient headgear and you'd be completely on board without question. The story is basic, but who cares? It's not the focus of the game. No one plays Mario for the plot. Well, someone does, but those kinds of people are in mental hospitals. That said, the story does contribute towards some level design choices, which immerses you a bit more in the plot than Mario usually does. But we'll get to that later. The make or break of any 3D platformer is the controls. No matter how well your levels are made, if the character doesn't control well, pretty much all of your work has gone to waste. It's a hurdle many 3D platformers struggle to overcome, but Mario always triumphs in this area, which is the reason he pretty much rules the 3D platformer scene. Of course, Odyssey is no exception to this. Nintendo got the controls pretty much perfect. Just moving in this game feels amazing. The standout of Odyssey is the amount of movement options you actually have. It's pretty much a combination of the movesets from every 3D Mario game. You have the long jump and dive from Mario 64, the rolling provides similar speeds to sliding with the Flood and Sunshine, the spin from Mario Galaxy, and of course, the jump from Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. The feature added to Odyssey is Mario's hat, which has been possessed by Cappy, giving it a whole new range of utility. Mario can throw his hat as a projectile, but if you hold the throw button, it can hover for a few seconds, allowing you to run or jump onto it to get a larger jump. The cap dive is definitely the most impressive new move. By jumping in the air, throwing the cap, and diving into it, you can bounce off the cap, allowing you to do yet another dive. This allows Mario to clear bigger gaps than ever before, and adds so much diversity to the movement options. I haven't even spoken about Cappy's most impressive ability, the capture mechanic. When Mario throws his cap at certain enemies, then Cappy can possess them, allowing you to play as the enemy. This grants the player access to the movesets of old and new enemies. And this is what really sets Odyssey apart from the other 3D Mario games. It opens up a whole new realm of gameplay opportunities for the developers to play around with. You may think, Silas, you can play as a Goomba. So what? Well, I raise you this. T-Rex. The controls of Super Mario Odyssey are extremely fluid, but there's so much to do with Mario's movement alone, never mind the capture mechanic. But to complement good gameplay, you obviously need good level design. I don't really think I need to tell you this. The game's been out for 3 years. The levels are amazing. Each level is a different kingdom around the world, and are all a mini open world to explore. You have the Cascade Kingdom, which is dinosaurs. You have the fusion of mechanics and nature in the Wooded Kingdom. The bustle of New York in the Metro Kingdom. Bowser's Kingdom is painted with an Asian aesthetic. You also have the Ice Kingdom. The kingdoms focus on one or two different capture mechanics and flesh it out throughout the journey. The best example would be the Pokio in Bowser's Kingdom. Pokio allows you to hang on to different walls and climb up them using the beak like a spring. You start off just climbing up simple walls. Then you gotta go up bigger walls. But it's still good. Then they hit you with rotating walls. Now you gotta be just a little bit more precise. Then they just say screw it. The entire wall moves. You also have to use the beak to push bombs into blocks and break them. This pretty much just escalates into fighting a giant robot. Besides the captures, Mario Odyssey still gives you the normal platforming experience just like the past games. To me, the best part about the level design is the spectacle. Every stage is visually stunning. Nintendo chose an environment and incorporated it smoothly into the world of Mario. Nothing beats entering Fossil Falls at the start of the game as the fully orchestrated soundtrack kicks in. It's the magic that always comes from 3D Mario games, but up to the absolute maximum. The levels are a joy to play through, and you can spend hours in each of them and still be having just as much fun as you had when you started. The Ice Kingdom is also in this game. The bosses are probably the only area that Mario Odyssey stumbles in. Most boss fights are against the Brutals, Bowser's wedding planners. For a game that does a great job in freshening up Mario's formula, it's pretty disappointing to see that fighting the Brutals ultimately boils down to dodging their attack and jumping on their head. They do get slightly more difficult, but that just translates to attacks that are somewhat bigger. It's always just 3 hits and they're out. Admittedly, there's some other bosses that do involve the capture ability, like Madame Brutal, that big ass snake thing in you dunk, and the giant brutal robot. But in these, all you do is walk around or wait a while and then hit the boss with whatever ability you have. Waiting is not very fun. The bosses are the only thing that brings Odyssey down, but they're a minor inconvenience amongst the gripping experience that is this game. What else does Mario Odyssey have to offer? Well, it's got moons for you to collect, lots of them, like almost 1,000 of them. Moons are what's used to power the Odyssey. You can find them all around the levels, and when you have the right amount you can progress to the next kingdom. In fact, if you find enough before helping the people of the kingdom, you can just leave them to suffer. This makes speedrunners some truly heartless people. Moons can be found in all sorts of ways. Some through platforming challenges, others through feeling the rumble in the ground. You could even seduce a Goomba. No thank you. There's also some moons in the Ice Kingdom. If you collect enough coins, you can buy different costumes. You can dress as Luigi, you can fake the moon landing, dress as Luigi, and you can also dress up as my mom. The costumes are purely cosmetic, but are all pretty funny or just kinda cool. Super Mario Bros. Is also in the game. Look at that, that's pretty cool. Mario Odyssey is a big shake-up for 3D Mario, and the capture ability is one that's hard to drop. Even with the plethora of things that have been done with this concept, it feels like Nintendo has just scratched the surface. So what will they do? Will they just move on to the next game and ditch it for a new concept? Will they continue it and make Mario Odyssey 2? Please let it be a Mario Odyssey 2. Either way, I'm not too worried about it. We've already seen that each 3D Mario game's foundation is all the games before it. So if we're going to get a game with Super Mario Odyssey in the foundation, then the future is looking brighter than ever for 3D Mario. This game also features the Ice Kingdom.
It's time to